Let me speak to you directly as a man who has watched modern dating evolve. A lot of men think women only respond to money because money is the loudest thing they see online. But what women respond to quietly and consistently are things deeper than status or material proof. Most men never master those things, and as a result, they settle for overcompensating financially or emotionally. The problem with overcompensation is simple. The moment the resources stop, the interest stops. Submission from a woman isn't forced, begged for, negotiated, or bought. It's given when she feels pulled toward a man she respects, trusts, and desires. And here is the part most men underestimate. Women don't submit to men who chase them. They submit to men who stand firm, who lead without insecurity, and who make her feel safe to drop her guard. When a woman chooses to follow your lead, cooperate with your direction, and invest her feminine energy into the connection, it changes everything. It just doesn't happen through tricks or manipulation. There are predictable triggers in feminine psychology that open that door. And only 5 things consistently activate that response in modern women without spending a dime. 1. Strong frame. Every woman tests a man's frame, not to hurt him or embarrass him, but to understand where his center is. A strong frame means you don't bend out of fear, insecurity, or pressure. You don't abandon your values, boundaries, or direction the moment you fear losing her. Women can sense instantly when a man's entire identity depends on her approval. When she senses that, she loses respect and submission becomes impossible. A man with a strong frame doesn't rush to explain himself, justify his decisions, or seek validation. His tone stays steady when she's emotional. His logic stays clear when she's chaotic. He doesn't force agreement, but he also doesn't trade leadership for temporary harmony. A woman relaxes when she realizes the man she's dealing with won't fold under tension. That tension is where most men fail because they confuse leadership with control and stubbornness with confidence. A strong frame makes her trust you because she sees you won't compromise your identity just to avoid conflict. Women submit to stability, not desperation. They don't follow men who panic. They follow men who stay rooted. Most relationships fall apart because the man doesn't hold his center. He either becomes emotionally reactive or overly accommodating. Both behaviors make her feel like she has to lead. And when she leads, she won't submit. The frame isn't loud. It's not aggressive. It's silent, consistent, and unshakable. It shows up in how you handle rejection, how you handle attention from women, how you handle disrespect, how you handle your schedule, how you handle your goals, and how you handle yourself. A woman submits to a man whose reality is stronger than hers. That strength isn't muscle or money, it's certainty. Certainty makes her relax. Relaxation makes her follow. 2. Emotional control. Women feel before they think. Men think before they feel. That difference creates friction in dating. Most men try to argue with a woman's feelings using logic, or they mirror her emotional intensity, hoping it will prove they care. Both responses destroy polarity. Emotional control doesn't mean being numb or detached. It means being the calm in the storm instead of becoming part of the storm. When a woman sees you stay grounded when she's upset, uncertain, jealous, or testing, she starts to trust your leadership. She realizes your emotions don't run your decisions. She feels safer because you won't lash out, complain, or collapse under pressure. Emotional control is attractive because it signals maturity. It shows you can handle life without overreacting. A woman can only submit to a man she knows won't panic when things get heavy. Most men lose emotional control for 2 reasons: fear of losing her or fear of not being enough. Fear turns into arguments, over-texting, chasing, explaining, and pleading. None of those behaviors make a woman feel feminine. They make her feel responsible for soothing or validating the man. When she becomes the emotional caretaker, she leads. And once she leads, submission dies. A controlled man doesn't hide his feelings. He just delivers them with clarity and timing. He doesn't chase closure in the middle of conflict. He doesn't demand instant answers. He doesn't punish her with withdrawal. He regulates himself first, then the connection. That regulation makes her feel like she's in the presence of someone stronger emotionally than she is. Women submit to that, not because they're weak, but because feminine energy relaxes in the presence of masculine steadiness. Emotional control gives her permission to be soft. Softness leads to cooperation. Cooperation leads to submission. 3. Direction and purpose. A woman's feminine instinct looks for direction in a man. Not commands, not demands, direction. Direction shows in the way you move, the goals you set, and how you protect your time. Most men try to get women to submit without giving them anything to submit to. Purpose gives a woman something bigger than the relationship to align with. When she sees a man driven by something beyond her, she admires him. Admiration is the seed of submission. A lot of men place the woman at the center of their life. They prioritize her over their mission, their growth, their fitness, their money, and their vision. In the beginning, she may enjoy the attention. Over time, she begins to resent it. Women don't want to be the man's life. They want to join a man who already has a life worth joining. When a man stops moving forward, she stops following. Direction doesn't mean you have everything figured out. It means you know where you're going. It means you're building something: career, business, discipline, skill, or legacy. A woman submits to the momentum of a man who is going somewhere. She doesn't care if you're at the top. She cares that you're in motion and that your motion is steady. Purpose also creates standards. Standards create boundaries. Boundaries create structure. Structure makes her feel safe. Safety unlocks cooperation. Cooperation opens the door to submission. A man without purpose becomes reactive. He becomes needy, clingy, insecure, or jealous because the relationship becomes his entire source of meaning. Women can't submit to that. It feels heavy and desperate. When a man moves with purpose, he becomes predictable in his discipline and unpredictable in his ambition. That combination keeps a woman both secure and intrigued. Intrigue makes her attentive. Attention makes her invest. Investment leads to submission. 4. Sexual polarity submission has a strong connection to polarity. Polarity is the magnetic tension between masculine and feminine energy. Most modern relationships lose that tension because both people start acting the same. When a man becomes overly accommodating, passive, or emotionally dependent, he slides into the feminine side. When a woman feels she has to lead, control, or manage the relationship, she slides into the masculine. Once that inversion happens, polarity dies and submission becomes impossible. Polarity isn't about dominance or control. It's about contrast. Masculine energy leads, decides, protects, initiates, and stabilizes. Feminine energy reacts, expresses, nurtures, receives, and follows. Women submit to polarity because it feels natural to them, not forced. When a man holds his masculine energy consistently, a woman relaxes into hers. That relaxation is what makes her cooperative rather than competitive. In dating, polarity shows up in small things. Who initiates the plans? Who chooses the place? Who sets the pace? Who reacts? Who leads physical escalation? Who handles conflict? And who sets the boundaries? Most men avoid leading because they fear rejection. But when a man doesn't lead, the woman has to. Once she's leading, she can't submit, even if she wants to. Polarity also shows up sexually. Women submit most naturally when they feel desired confidently, not passively, not timidly. Women can sense when a man carries sexual confidence rooted in self-worth rather than validation seeking. That confidence makes her feminine side surface. When that feminine side surfaces, submission flows. Where most men fail is thinking submission is verbal or logical. It's energetic. A woman's body submits before her mind does. When the polarity is strong, she follows without needing to be told. When polarity is weak, everything becomes negotiation, debate, and power struggle. Polarity doesn't require money. It requires presence, assertiveness, timing, and certainty. 5. Consistent boundaries. Boundaries are where attraction becomes respect. A woman can be attracted to you without respecting you. Submission only happens when respect is present. Men lose respect faster through weak boundaries than anything else. Weak boundaries look like tolerating disrespect, chasing harder when she pulls away, accepting inconsistency, and rewarding bad behavior just to keep the connection alive. That behavior makes her feel like she has more power than she should, and once she feels that imbalance, she leads instead of follows. A boundary isn't a warning or a speech, it's an action. If she disrespects you and you stay, you taught her it's acceptable. If she flakes and you reward her with more attention, you taught her unreliability wins. If she plays games and you respond emotionally, you taught her she can destabilize you. Women don't submit to men they can destabilize. They submit to men they can't move emotionally off their center. Boundaries also include standards. Standards show what you expect from a relationship without demanding it. Standards give her a choice, align or exit. Most men never give that choice because they fear losing her. That fear kills authority. Authority increases when a man proves he can walk away, not because he wants to, but because he refuses to abandon himself. Consistent boundaries also remove confusion. Women test confusion. They cooperate with clarity. When she knows what you accept and what you reject, she adjusts naturally, not from pressure, but from respect. Submission is respect expressed through cooperation. The key word is consistent. A boundary enforced once and abandoned later loses all power. Submission comes when a woman realizes your standards are not for show, not for manipulation, and not for negotiation. They are part of who you are. A woman submits to identity, not performance. 6. Calm authority. Authority without calm becomes aggression. Calm without authority becomes passiveness. Women submit to the balance. Calm authority is the presence of a man who doesn't need to raise his voice, debate endlessly, or prove anything to get cooperation. His energy communicates leadership before his words do. When a woman feels that, she naturally adjusts her tone, her pace, and her expectations. Most men misunderstand authority. They think it's about control, strict rules, or intimidation. Real authority is quiet and effortless. It shows in how you make decisions, how you handle conflict, how you handle compliments, how you handle attention from other women, and how you handle pressure. A man with calm authority never begs, negotiates for validation, or tries to win arguments through intensity. He speaks once, clearly, and consistently follows through. Women feel calm authority through your body language, your timing, your responses, and your non-reactivity. For example, when she's emotional, a man with authority doesn't match her volume. He slows things down. He doesn't rush to fix her feelings. He doesn't get defensive or sarcastic. He listens, and then he redirects. That redirection is leadership. Leadership makes feminine energy soften. Calm authority also shows up in the way you take responsibility, not responsibility for her mood, but responsibility for your decisions, your direction, and your life. Women submit to men who take responsibility without complaint. Complaining makes you look powerless. Powerlessness destroys authority. Another key piece is certainty. A woman relaxes when a man decides. Most men think deciding is risky because they might choose wrong. But indecision is far more damaging than mistakes. A man who can decide and adjust commands more respect than a man who waits for permission. When respect rises, so does cooperation. Cooperation is the foundation for submission. 7. Quiet confidence. Confidence is loud in insecure men and quiet in secure men. Quiet confidence is the kind a woman feels rather than hears. It isn't performed, exaggerated, or announced. It's present in how you move through the world, how you handle rejection, how you handle attention, and how you handle uncertainty. Women submit to quiet confidence because it doesn't ask for approval, it assumes it. Most men confuse confidence with charisma or extroversion. Confidence isn't how much you talk, it's how little you need to impress. Quiet confidence shows up in restraint. Restraint is powerful because it signals abundance. A man who doesn't chase validation already has options, even if he never says it. That unspoken reality makes a woman step toward him instead of pulling away. Quiet confidence also shows up in self-sufficiency. A confident man has a life outside the relationship. He doesn't rely on a woman for emotional stability, direction, or identity. Women submit to that because feminine energy wants to join something strong, not rescue something fragile. When a man isn't rattled by challenges, competition, or uncertainty, she feels pride in following his lead. The most underrated aspect of confidence is comfort. A woman can feel when a man is comfortable in his body, his presence, his silence, and his decisions. Silence is especially powerful. Most men fill silence with over-explaining, compliments, or validation-seeking. Quiet confidence uses silence to communicate certainty. Certainty makes her lean in. Submission doesn't happen when a woman fears losing you. It happens when she fears replacing you with someone equal. Confidence makes you rare. Rarity makes you valuable. Value earns respect. Respect creates polarity. Polarity activates submission naturally. Quiet confidence isn't loud, aggressive, or attention-seeking. It's steady, controlled, and undeniable. Women submit to the energy of a man who knows who he is. Conclusion submission isn't forced. It isn't negotiated. It's given freely when a woman feels she's with a man she can trust, respect, and follow. Money can buy attention, compliance, and short-term interest, but it can't create true submission. Only frame, emotional control, purpose, polarity, boundaries, authority, and confidence can. Those qualities make a woman soften, invest, and cooperate. They make her want to align instead of resist. A man who builds these qualities never has to beg for feminine energy. He attracts it. And when he attracts it, he never has to question his place in the relationship. She shows it through her behavior.